Gemini, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-February 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Geminis. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for Gemini gang in mid-February, please, and thank you. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Gemini in mid-February. What is the vibe? What is the energy swirling around in the ether for my good friends here? Please, let's get this card going nice and quick. Hopefully. Yeah, ask and you shall receive. There it is. Okay, very interesting. This card usually reminds me of the Hierophant. It's very solid, stable, but there's also really, really strong like spiritual undertone. There's also unseen energy when we really look at the deeper aspects of the symbolism. So for some of you, this could be a variety of different things. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little more in depth about this individual. So we see this dude, he's chilling there. He has a blindfold on and he's searching through all these little gold symbols, which are different types of spirituality and spiritualism. So again, to me, yeah, this is very Hierophant-like. So for some of you, there could be certain dealings with power structures, religious institutions, things like that. But this is also somebody looking at the unseen energy. So for some Geminis, maybe you're just doing a little searching, whether it's spiritual searching, soul searching. You might be in investigation mode when this shows up too. It's like, all right, let me take a little peek at this. I'm exploring. That's what I think when I see this card. There's a lot of exploration. Now, aside from that, and aside from like the religious drive or the spiritual, I don't want to quite say religious. For some of you, there can be a yearning for that. But the big thing with the blindfold is mystery, the unknown, the unexpected. So whether it is something that you're looking for, trying to understand, trying to rationalize, or again, there could be various things popping up that you weren't quite expecting. So we'll see if that theme really carries over into the reading. We're going to put him down right there. He could keep on searching through all that stuff. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card there, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my Gemini friends. What do we got going on? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, talk about last week's reading. So I will say this, for the last few weeks, there has been a very fiery energy around the Gemini collective. Last week's reading was titled, It's Game Over. So for a lot of Geminis, you might be very, or may have been, like very strict in your ways about something very straightforward, no nonsense, no BS. That was the big vibe I was picking up last week. So that might carry over, it might not. For a lot of you, hopefully you weren't getting fed up with certain situations. That could have been possible as well. But I mean, as you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? And I've seen it many times where the vibe switches from week to week in drastic ways. So let's get your 3 cards out here. What do we got for Gemini to start, please? There we go. Thank you. Okay. All right, we're going to have to explore this further because you did get 2 cards. One I really, really like. We got our good friend here, the King of Cups, a.k.a. Kyle of Cups himself without a beard. He has a little goblet right there. He's chilling. He seems pretty relaxed and chill. That's the vibe I'm getting off of him initially. In the center, though, we do have the Devil. Now, elementally, these cards can work well together. Okay, it's totally different vibe than what I was picking up last week, but we want to look at this. That's a very entrenched type of energy. So let's get one more. Let's get one more just to start before we get into the clarifying. What do we got? Thank you. Okay, so another 2 cards. So the cards came out in 2s for you this week, which is bizarre. That usually doesn't happen. And the first one is Ace of Pentacles, a very conversational type of energy, very fresh, very new. I like the elemental mix. And we have one of your power cards showing up as the bonus. We have the beautiful Lovers chilling right here. Now, it's always interesting. I feel like the Devil and the Lovers have like flipped imagery where it's like yin-yang type of vibe. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, elementally, I like what we have going on here. Now, these elements against the Gemini, yeah, sometimes they're not the most comfortable, but we have some nice water here, which is very flowy, very go with the flow, nice vibe. And we have earth, a little more grounded, a little slower moving. We do have your power card on the back end, so that tells me, all right, this might be good, but this devil energy, it's sticking out like a sore thumb because we have a lot of positives surrounding it. So it's very bizarre, and we're going to need to get down to the bottom of it. It's a bit of a mixed bag happening here. But when we look at the elements and how they play together, whenever we mix water and earth, there's a lot of potential. That's a good thing. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build it out, because we could be seeing various themes and archetypes this week. Position number one, we have our good pal here, our good friend, Mr. King of Cups, chilling right there. So for some of you, maybe you're connected to a water sign, maybe you have water placements yourself, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. If that's not the case, I always say kings represent control of their suit, and cups, they're water. Again, very go with the flow, flowy type of energy. This does show up often with like romance, love, emotional situations. It's creative, it's very expressive, it's very conversational. So that's another thing I'm picking up here with the King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. There's a conversational type of energy that we want to take a look at, like a lot of speaking, talking, chit chat. That this has a lot of really good positives here. It could be someone that's controlling their emotions, like, all right, I'm staying base level here, I'm trying to keep this under wraps, which can be good. But a challenge with the King of Cups, sometimes this energy could be a little bit unhinged, right? A little uncontrollable, because that is water. It's always going with the flow, just moving in its own way, right? And it adapts. It's very adaptable. So watch out for emotional ups and downs, emotional volatility, things that you can't quite help but feel. That's a big vibe with this King of Cups. Now, there are worst case scenarios. I'm not going to go into that. Sometimes this could even be someone that throws a few too many back, or is partying it up a little bit too much. We're not even going to walk down that road. Moving to the middle, we do have the devil chilling right there, big Capricorn energy. So they get that card because of the goat symbolism. So you might be connected to a Cappy. Maybe you have some placements there. If that's not the case, total opposite of what we have going on with the king and the lovers too. This is an extremely grounded energy. And even though with the symbolism, it looks very fiery, it's earth. It's very powerful earth. And when I see this, I do think of problems. I do think of situations. Usually they're not fly-by-night ones. So it's like, all right, I've either been dealing with this for a long time, or I might have to deal with this for a long time. It's very entrenched. So total opposite from what we have going on here. Now, the devil does have some positives, but the list for the challenges is long and hefty, right? So I'll give you some of the positives. This could be good for anything monetary. This could be good for anything career, business related, because the devil is the material world, right? When we look at the deeper aspects of the symbolism. But aside from that, I mean, again, it could be an issue or a problem that you've been dealing with for a long time, or one that pops back up. It's like a thorn in the side. It can't quite leave, or it can't quite let go, or there's just something lingering about it. That's a big thing with this energy. Very similar to the Hierophant. It could be very stubborn. This could represent toxic things. It could represent addictions. It could represent obsessions and jealousy and like wild thoughts. So we do want to watch out for this devil, because this could be a warning, depending. Now, it is surrounded by so much good stuff, which can be good. That could lighten the energy, but it could also be another warning where it's like, okay, this looks good, but maybe not. There's more to see. On the back end, we do have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, I love all aces. I say that all aces are opportunities. They represent offers. It's a beautiful, fresh, vibrant type of energy, and this is like a golden opportunity. So whether this is an offer coming in, a communication, a talk coming in, that can most definitely be possible with the Ace of Pentacles. It usually does link to the monetary because it is earthy energy, not the fastest moving either. So we do want to see what the complexion of this card is. Now, when it comes to the challenges of all aces, it can represent missed opportunities. This is an energy where, although there's a lot of potential here, it can wither away quickly. Or this is something where it's like, all right, it's here, but then it's not. It's like limited time only. It's not fully developed. So whenever I see an ace, I'm like, yeah, that looks good, but it's not guaranteed. So we definitely want to look at that further as well. And obviously on the back end, before we get into the clarification and the cards, they're like doing all sorts of funny stuff. We have the Lovers. And while I get these cards adjusted, let's talk about it. Now, I did mention that It is one of your power cards, which is true. So again, it could just be representing you, self-sufficient, self-focused. This could really highlight partnerships, love, romance. It doesn't always have to be romantic, but it could be like friends, soul ties, soul bonds, twin flames, things along that line. And we're not going to go too far into it. It could also be very healing. So when we see this mixture of energies, some of you could be going through a very intense healing process of some sort. But I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it, Gemini. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. What do we got for the Geminis? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Mr. King of Cups. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Gemini, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, King of Cups time. What's he doing? Where's the King of Cups here? Thank you. All right, really, really strong energy of temptation here. Okay, so that could be various different things for a portion of you, whether it's an old habit, old way of thinking. There is a potential for someone to revert back to old ways when I see strength in reverse. Either that or this could be a bit of an emotional warning, right? Because remember, I was speaking about the control of emotions with the King of Cups. This is someone where it's like they can't help feel the way they feel. They just can't help it. And it's like, all right, well, I wish I didn't have to feel like that, or I wish I didn't feel these things, but I do. What do I do with all of this? That's like kind of an energy I'm picking up here. Now, strength can represent Leo energy. Usually it's strength of character. There's a lot of determination. It's like, I'm going to see something through. When we see it in reverse, it's kind of caving on something as well. So I feel like it's a twofold, little bit of a warning here. Either there's a potential for someone to revert back to old ways, or there's a lot of temptation going on here. So if there's something you're refraining from or trying not to do, whether it's a thought or behavior, you name it. When I see the King of Cups and strength, it's like, oh, it's a bit of a struggle here, and there could be a potential fallback, if that makes sense, when this card is here. So we're just going to keep moving. We're not going to go into that too far. Just going to put the strength card right there. Let's keep going on over to that devil, because we definitely need to see what's going on there. Why is the devil here for my cappies? That is a little bit of a warning. And yeah, again, it could just be someone's emotional state. Remember, like last week, I saw very strict, very serious. This is kind of the opposite. It's like very up and down, hot and cold. But let's see what the devil's doing. What's the devil here for my Geminis, please? Yeah. So again, there's potential for various things to pop back up, where it's like, I thought I solved this. I thought I solved this. I thought I was past this. It's like the most bizarre thing. Star in reverse underneath the devil is one of the more difficult alignments there could be. Okay, either that, I mean, we are currently, no, we're not in Aquarius season, so that can't even be it, unless you're tied to an Aquarius. But when I see the star, I think of long periods of time. I think of the future. So the fact that it's in reverse, we have this energy where it's like swinging back around. Okay, so I would be cautious about this. Like, even if there is something you want it to come back, or you want it to come back around, I wouldn't rush it, or I wouldn't rush into it. I would be very cautious about it, because there's a potential, again, whether it is a behavior, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation. With what I'm picking up here in the front, it's things that could really flare back up quickly, and I would just be cautious about it. I'm not saying don't indulge in it, but I'm just saying being careful with this. Just step lightly. So again, we do have this warning showing up, and I do feel it's important, right? Because the big thing I felt with this devil and star in reverse, it's like, all right, well, I thought I dealt with this, or I thought I was past this. That's the vibe I was picking up. So let's just keep going. So again, mixed bag for you this week. We have some good, but we do have some warnings in the mix. Let's see what the Ace of Pentacles has. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Ace of Pentacles here for my Geminis, please? Let's see what's up with that. Thank you. Eight of Swords. Okay. Now, I'm not saying all the energy is rough. I'm not saying all the energy is terrible. This is an energy that you can get through. You can get past it. There's like a light at the end of the tunnel here, but it's opposite from what we have in the center, where like this energy, it keeps lingering. It keeps popping back up. It keeps flaring back up. When I see the Ace of Pentacles and Eight of Swords, that's a quick moving energy. So it's like, all right, well, if you could just get past this, if you could just get over this hump, get over this issue or problem or whatever it is, like, then it could solve itself quicker. There's like a domino effect happening with energy. I hope that makes sense for whatever situations you're going through, because it's like, all right, well, if you could get through this, or if you could make it past this, everything will be fine. Now, the Eight of Swords is very stress induced. Okay, it's overthinking. Again, I'm not saying it's you. There could be somebody with this and what we have in the middle and what we have here, where their mind might be a little messy in this time, where someone, whether the way they're acting, the way they're thinking, it could be a bit of a mess when we're seeing it. It just feels scrambled to me. But at the same time, I feel like if you can get through this, or you can get over this, everything will be fine. It's like we just need to get over the hump. That's just the energy that's showing up to me, Gemini. I hope that's making sense for your situation. But the Eight of Swords, yeah, stress-induced, but it's not the worst-case scenario, because this energy, it's like, all right, well, now we're cooking. Now we can move past this. So let's go through and do a quick recap. Either that, or you might have a conversation or a talk, or get some news that like really stresses you out. That's very possible on the back end too. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So there's some difficulties in this week's reading. Not all bad. There's some good too. But if you kindly look in the box before we get to the shadow, we have the King of Cups himself with the Strength card. Now, I did say there is an emotional warning here, where it could be very much up and down. There's a potential for someone to revert back or give in to something where it's like, okay, well, I kind of didn't want to, but I just did. It's like giving me that kind of energy. So especially if you're trying to refrain from something, there's a potential to give into it, or something to flare back up. And we especially see that in the center, the Devil with the Star in reverse. Now, this could either be someone going through a very difficult time and their head is in a bad place, or again, this is something flaring back up where it's like, I thought I dealt with this, or I thought I was past this, I thought I was over this. So there could be various situations showing up. And I do feel like this is a bit of a warning that there could be various things returning. You just need to be cautious about it. I'm not saying don't indulge in it fully, just be cautious. Moving to the back end, we do have the Ace of Pentacles with Eight of Swords, so this might be a stress-inducing talk. Someone's mind state might not be in the best place, but to me it feels like if you can get over this hump, if you can get over this challenge or through this period, you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be okay, because once you get over this devil energy, things start moving in a very good direction. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows for you this week. So let's get a good shuffle here from my Gemini friends. What do we got for my friends, please? And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Let's get your one here. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, shadow card time. What is chilling in the shadows? Thank you. Okay. So we do have the Seven of Wands, and this is good, and it kind of reinforces what I was seeing here within the front part of the reading, because it's the Seven of Wands. The good thing about this card is that it is a card of determination. So when I'm seeing things pop back up, when I'm seeing caving in on something, and the Seven of Wands is in the shadows, it's like, yeah, you're probably going to be put to the test. Either that, or the universe might test you in a variety of different ways in this time, so keep that in mind. It's like, okay, well, you've made some progress. Let's see how much progress you've made. It's kind of like testing the strength of something. That's kind of what I'm picking up here. So whether that's something you're doing or something someone else is going to do, it's like, all right, let's see how strong this really is. It could also be combative, but I do also feel it fits the theme with, once you get over this hump, if you have determination, if you can get through this, whatever this represents, everything will be fine, right? Because that's a big thing with the Seven of Wands. It doesn't give up. It doesn't give up without a fight. So we're just going to leave it at that, Gemini. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out the availability and my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could get a little forecast for the next few weeks for you. But for the February subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Tarot of the Owls. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, if you could snap your fingers right now and wish for something, what would it be? It could be anything except more wishes. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.